Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. Late as always, I am now around like over 24 hours late to covering this. However, my DMs are not going to stop exploding if I don't make a video about this. So here it is. Now don't think that it's forced. I am genuinely excited for these characters and the arrival of the Poster twins. My goodness, you know what? I'm not gonna say and lie to you guys that these were the ones that jumped out at me back all the way in 2020 during the original teasers of the entirety for the Genshin regions. But I do have to say these twins have been in my mind rent-free due to the potential of them being like a unique tag team duo playstyle, like 2-in-1 character. Now it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, and for obvious reasons. HoYoverse is not just going to design one set of characters with one unique playstyle and never really explore that any further, and they're going to have to spend the extra effort to code that into the game and how that's going to work synergistically wise in a game where there are elements, right, and elements have reactions with each other. It's just going to be a huge headache. You're going to make them both the same element and have different skill sets, right? Then it's a consolidation of roles, and it's going to be either really broken or they're going to undertune it to make sure it's not broken, and then it's going to feel really weird. But then people get 2-in-1 value where you spent the money for one and you pull for two characters. So that was, you know, in hindsight, just wishful thinking. But now that we have them here, Pyro and Anemo, it's okay. Don't want to be a party pooper, but right now Anemo has some insane units in this category. Like, if you want to be competitive in the Anemo category, of course they don't have to be competitive. If you love them, you love them. But if you want them to feel good to play and be relevant continuously throughout multiple iterations of the game's endgame, you have to be a pretty damn good character, right? Or a fairly above average character. So the Anemo category is fierce, right? In the support category, I don't need to be the one to tell you, it is like ride or die. It's really all in or just fold round one before you even look at the cards. Now I do think there is some hope in the category of like a support DPS, because right now we have a lot of hyper carries for Anemo. Well, I say a lot, it's really only two, right? Zhao and Scaramouche. But Anemo also has Faruzan, which, if you think about it, running maybe a triple Anemo team right now is going to be the way to go. If you have a C6 Faruzan, pairing it with a Scaramouche, and then also Anemo off-field support, also benefiting from Faruzan's damage buffing, you know, that could land this character in a very comfy position. Now, just because you're an Anemo support DPS does not mean that you cannot help other teams. So this is just wishful thinking. Maybe finally we're getting like an Anemo support DPS, kind of like Xingqiu, kind of like Yalan, that type of deal, right? So DPS, but maybe not going to be on the field all the time, but can contribute to your field's damage. Now, this is actually the juiciest of them all, because man is a pyro unit. Now, I don't need to be the one to tell you guys this, but HoYoverse has been incredibly stingy with pyro characters. It seemed like HoYoverse is straight up refusing to release a single good pyro DPS or support or whatever the hell until we reach Natlan. Now, this character is obviously not from Natlan, right? It's just bizarre to me that right after what they did with Dia, they're gonna come around and release the Poster twin from Fontaine, with one of them being Pyro. Am I saying this guy has to replace Bennett? No. Am I saying he has to make Hu Tao look like dog water? No. But it would seem as if that right now HoYoverse is dead set on making Pyro units that are incredibly niche. Their whole point in the game is to fulfill maybe a unique role that almost no one really needs or asked for. It's really just selling the appeal of the character. And come on, like, this dude has some appeal. I'm sure there's a lot of people going absolutely batshit crazy for this character design, and I do have to say I love it. I think it's a great expression of character. It really does give a different vibe. Am I getting some Venti vibes from him? Maybe. Am I pulling for them? Now this is another conversation. Currently right now, I have made my stance on the game being that I don't want to pull for units for the sake of pulling for units. Now, yes, I am a content creator and it doesn't really break the bank per se to pull for these characters, but what I've realized is, especially with my account, there's a lot of characters that just sits around doing nothing. Now, is that a problem? Not really, right? Like, I pulled them, I played them maybe for a month or two, and nowadays I just don't have a use for them because I can get the job done with other units that are doing the job better. And it's incredibly resource taxing to build characters up to the highest level through artifact grinding and getting more constellations or weapons to keep pushing them and their ceilings higher. So now with a character like, I want to have a closer look and evaluation of these characters. Maybe I'll pull one of the two, but my point still stands is that I'm done pulling for the sake of pulling. I don't think that's a great way to play the game, and in hindsight I do kind of regret some of the characters I have pulled for in the past. Now, yes, I have made videos about that as well, so we're not going to talk about that here. Also, do keep in mind that yes, pulling for these characters are amazing. They are the poster units for Fontaine, but the Hydro Archon is also in the horizon. It almost seems like everybody completely forgot about 3.8's entire existence, and we're just already in 4.0. With the amount of teasers shown in the last 48 hours, I think people have just pretty much lost their mind. They're like, they're simping, they're writing some really sus things right here, especially on Twitter, which I'm not going to show them, but they put my name to shame. The end goal is always to summon for Folklore, the Hydro Archon. These characters in the process, I don't know how well they're going to synergize with Folklores, right? It's surprising that we went into the Hydro region, yet we haven't seen a Hydro character. Now, yes, regions are not always about the element that is associated with them, but I would love to see how Hydro plays a bigger role, even from its current position, which is unfathomable, because how can Hydro have a more prevalent existence in the current game state? It's already the most dominating element there is. It has some of the best synergies in the game with other elements, and it's also, in my opinion, the most developed because of its synergies with the other elements. It has no limitations, unlike Geo and Anemo, and it's the core of some of the best reactions in the game. So I'm holding my breath, looking to see what is happening, but man, these two characters do look amazing. I do have to say that. If I had to predict like what they're gonna do, I don't think he's gonna be a DPS. Maybe he is, but I don't think he is. We have Dia, we have Hu Tao, we have Yoimiya. On top of that, if we get this character and they're a DPS, then they're gonna be in direct competition with these other characters, right? People are already kecking because, oh, he called Dia a DPS. Relax. But this character actually has, in my opinion, a harder time maybe to fit into the game due to the competitiveness of the Anemo roster. Back to this one, if this character could replace Xiangling or could be a slightly upgraded version or a side grade of Xiangling, 5-star version of Xiangling, hallelujah, man. I would pull for this character if this character has anything even remotely close to do with what Xiangling does. It's just off-field pyro application would be superb, amazing to have in the game. But what do you guys think? That's it. I think it's amazing. I'm really excited for 4.0, but I'm even more so excited for 4.2, where I think the Hydro Archon is going to come out, or maybe 4.1 is when the Hydro Archon comes out. We'll see. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, urge you to stay safe. Peace. Bye-bye.